in the jungle, lionesses teach their young ones how to hunt. And if the young lion perfects it very well, when the lioness that taught it is old enough and cannot hunt, the lioness will never die of hunger, because there is its young one to hunt for it. We all have to believe that it's only when the old teach the young. Yeah, and that's how the generation grows. Because when the old teach the young will perfect it. And which will help the old in the future. Because these young ones, after perfecting it, they will come back and help the ones who taught them. Like,
I take it out and put it in the next one. Yeah. I'm put it in the room, like she said. Yes, sir, baby. Junior electrician. No summer camp a day, baby. You learn how to work real. For real, you know what I'm saying? Teach you how to do something, get you real money. Tuck it. You've done what you do, you've done. Tug on it. Yes, sir. I don't give a flying fuck about a ball. You know what I'm saying? This shit right here gonna get you paid for the rest of your life, man. Without you calling me, asking me for anything. Yes, sir. All the way down. Boom! Cut it off. Keep working, man. You gotta learn how to work. Work with me. Don't stop moving. Cut it off. And pull the black straps off. We're gonna try how they lift this. I got 3 wild. You wanna see how long it take the first time to do 3 wild? You with 1 right now. 2 more. Pull it off, bro. Use a tip. So you cutting it, use a tip. That won't cut it, yup. See how that's not cutting it? Watch your hand hitting something, remember. Pull it back so you spin it around so you see the copper. The copper put it this way. You see, look down. Look down. You see the copper? See how you spin it? You don't want that to hit your feet.
Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach I want to give double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth sincerity. This is Rob Amar for the Nebraska camp. And like I said, man, I wanted to go into this video that was presented, you know, and I'm going to start off with a precept in Proverbs that says, Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Okay? And the scriptures tell you to train, because Esau has taught us to love our child in the way that they should go. So you tell them it's okay, it's all right, it's this, it's that, and you make them feel good about who they are. And that's very destructive, because we're in a society that will destroy you. Okay? Whether you're good or not, man. You have to have discipline in this society. All right? Really anything, but this society doesn't have any empathy. Okay? You do a crime, you do the time type shit, man. Right? And I think, like I went over this before, but, you know, this is vital, I believe, because, you know, even though we should be getting out here anytime soon, all right? We're not going to see our kids grow from 4 years old to 20 and see them graduate. You know, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm hastening in the day, all right? But that don't mean I don't train them up, okay? Because that's you know, when I was a young brother, when I was young in this truth, I'm still young. You know what I'm saying? I came in like 2009, you know, but I'm still young. But when I was a jit, you know, I was like, man, this place is gonna go down tomorrow. It could go down any day. Like living like that, and it made me negligent of a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Which is, you know, hey, I did it in sincerity and in truth, so I don't regret one moment of it. You know what I'm saying? But I learned that, hey, man, you know, you still gonna have kids. You still gotta go to work. All right? You still gotta pay bills. You still gotta have money in your pocket, because you gotta render unto Caesar things that are unto Caesar, unless you want to be like John the Baptist and you know, live as a nomad. Okay? But like the scriptures say, he that if you have a wife, then you're gonna want to please your wife. Okay? And that's another thing, a side note to brothers is, you don't want to be adding all these social, economic, reoccurring payments. Kids, financial obligations, hobbies. All right? Everything we do should be conducive towards the gospel. All right? I'm not saying that Jake can't have certain, I'm saying that you're wicked or something like that. What I'm saying is, like, you got to be mindful of how you regulating your time and your resources. We should be giving the Lord out the first fruit of our labors. Okay? So, within that, getting back to what I was saying, like, Esau knows he's created a system to destroy the family nucleus. Because the family nucleus is a true progression of anything. All right? The governance of his people is, so when you destroy the family nucleus, i.e., you're too busy by working. That's one aspect. They got you working hell and high water. And then when you off, you want to choose life. And they told you life was vacationing, visiting this place, that place, this place. As the scriptures say, Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Sit your ass down. Why is it you got to run to this place, and that place? And if you're really bugged out, you got your holidays. Okay? So this is Jake pretty much are in a system of voluntary oppression. Okay? Not only regular oppression, but voluntary oppression to keep you financially distraught. Okay? And economically distraught. And then on top of that, you have a kid. Okay? You have a child. Like I said, you train them up in a way that they should go, which is these scriptures. Okay? Which is being a man. Alright? That's why they want a lot of men out of the household. But like I was saying, like, you want to train them up. I get it. We could be getting out here at any day, any time. But that don't mean that you don't have a child and train them with the intent of being a prophet. I gotta, if you got a son, you're supposed to train him with the intent of being a prophet. You have a daughter, you're supposed to train him with the intent of being a wife. Okay? And we're not pushing, but I'm not gonna just let my kid sit on a damn iPad. Long as I'm prophesying, we should be okay. Alright? Because your kid could be bugged out, man. Alright? You gotta, we have a duty to everything. And as the scripture said, if you don't know how to run your house, how can you run the church? Okay? And I'm just speaking from experience. I learned a lot by, training my children. Not loving them, not being a father to them. I'm talking about training. Once I started actually showing my kids how to squabble, I started realizing that these kids only know what the fuck I'm teaching them. They don't know nothing. They haven't been here before. And so you loving on them, expecting them to know about life. Like women you'll say, oh, you keep doing that to your kid, or you keep neglecting them, they're gonna get messed up. My kid ain't gonna be mad. Like, how do you know? There's a cause and effect. If your kid jumped out a 2-story window, they'll get hurt. This is common sense. There's a reality to things. Not this emotional because you love them so much that if they jump out the window, they're going to be okay. No, that's not how it works. Love does not conquer all that. It conquers all, but now it ain't going to conquer the laws of physics. It ain't going to conquer reality. All right? But that's a misused scripture. Okay? Because again, this is a tactic used by Esau. All right? That's why the Lord said, what has thou done to declare my statutes? Because they manipulated what love is. You're supposed to have a love for keeping the will of the Heavenly Father. All right? But getting back to what I was saying is that Esau's propaganda to destroy the family nucleus ultimately is the agenda of making you reliant on them. Because you need a man. You need guidance. All right? And they'll tell you you don't need a man, but they're being the man in the situation. Because the reason why you need a man, because you need structured guidance. You need a protector, a provider. All right? Same as camp heads, regional heads, our apostles. All right? And if you're raised, or we all are raised in Babylon, and we all were trained in Babylon. And if you don't put off the old man and flake off the old ways, you're going to be responding to these said elements in a negative fashion, or teaching in a destructive fashion. You're not gonna be structuring people up. You're gonna be trying to get people to love you, trying to burgers and fringes. You know, you're trying to get the congregation. Now you don't want to speak on the name because people, you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Hey man, to hell with them, man. All right. And if you say that in this society, people will gasp. Oh, I can't believe you say something like that. Because of all this love, man. You can't say to hell with somebody. Like a prudent man, like, hey, there's serial killers in the world that people wish death on. That people want to die. Don't you realize that those kids was once babies? Okay? So all that emotion shouldn't supersede logic. Alright? All that emotion shouldn't supersede logic. So all I gotta say to that. But getting back to what I was saying is you know, in a society they're teaching. You're too busy. They don't allow. I ain't gonna say they don't allow. You're so busy that you can't take care of your grandparents. You're so selfish. Instead of when you come home, you got your grandparents there. You want to have your own room so you get all freaky and shit, or travel, or you don't want to stop and take care of your parents. All right. So now you gotta, there's a social security system now. So now you're getting taxed for that because they taught you that you need to live your best life while you have it. Okay. No, your best life in this world is following the Lord's will and your family, man. That's the point to life, man. And all these people that get rich and they get to the top, just like we're speaking about on the highways, we're talking about cliff top and then cliff bottom. It's the same. It's the same, man. You're going to be wanting the same things. It's just that Esau taught you that the money is the motive. And then when you get it all, you're going to start realizing, man, I'm looking for friends. I'm looking for companionship. I'm looking for all the things that money can't buy. And then when you get there, and as they say, you start realizing that the simple things of life are free, for as corny as it sounds. All right. So, like I said, man, training up your child is important. There's people here that have kids and still be trying to live their life instead of training their kids up, man. Giving them all the fruit snacks that they want, giving them all the bullshit that they want because you don't want them mad, giving them tablets. Instead of training them, you want to love them. Now they all bugged out because they're really being trained by they're going to get trained by somebody. They're going to get trained by somebody. And that somebody, is ultimately Esau, and he wants it to be that way. He's structuring it to be that way. That's why there's iPads. That's why there's a schooling system. That's why that's why there's, CNN and propaganda. All right. Because they're being the parents. That's why there's laws and governance. Now there's laws of the land for every land, but they get all into your home with it, man. All right, King be wanting taxes. Like if King David, you can't sit here and be serving Baal in the middle of Jerusalem. All right, you can't do certain things to your servants, right? But they ain't telling you, hey, so you letting your kid, you whooping your kid? Oh, you out here doing this with your personal time? That's what Esau's doing. He's trying to control you economically and personally. He's trying to play the Most High. He ain't trying to play the king. All right? So, getting back to what we was talking about, when you get into the book of Sirach, the 30th chapter, it says, he that loveth his son causeth him oft to fill a rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. All right? And that's that's called discipline. All right? But Esau calls that abuse. And it's not. It's hypocritical because they'll beat the fuck out you. Okay? Police officers. All right? They'll beat the hell out of you, man. That's a routine thing. You do a crime or you get caught in the police chase, beat the hell out of you, man. But then we'll tell you don't beat nobody. Now, I ain't saying to beat your kid like police officers do it, but spare the rod, spoil the child. Because the whole point is, ain't the severity of the beating that I'm talking about. I'm talking about what the beating does to the psyche. It tells you, damn, I shouldn't do that anymore. You know, give them a bloody nose, right? I ain't talking about actual bloody nose. It's a term from the 48 Laws of Power. Like anytime you do something, if you give somebody a bloody nose for it, whether win or lose, they'll be reluctant to do it again. Okay, so when your child does something, you know, because you know you'll have kids talking about holidays, oh Halloween, and you as a parent, like we're in a society, bro, it's inevitable for your child to learn about Halloween or Christmas or that, because it's everywhere, right? So once you gotta discipline them. You can't just say, oh baby, it's not that. Some kids can, depends on the child, but most kids you gotta, you know, give them a negative experience every time they speak on it, you know. But let me get back to it. It says, he that chastises his son, which is discipline, whooping on them, correcting them, structuring them, get your ass up, dress like this, do that. That's what the parents are for, not the government. Okay? Structuring their kids, right? It says, he shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. And this is the point I wanted to get. And before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he is though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. All right? In this society, it does not adhere to that. When you have a kid, the kid want to grow, he's got all kind of exterior influences. Now he want to be an astronaut or a president or, you know, something that, you know, you're not, in spite of you. Like, it's like a tactic. It's not like you're motivated or you just have this personal inclination. You're like programmed to think like this. Just like they program the women to try to be individuals, to not follow a constructed order. All right. So when you come down to your kids, you're a whole licensed mechanic. You didn't went through Esau schools. You learned everything he learned. You could teach your kid everything. You know what I'm saying? You could teach your kid everything. Just like they said, in your 20s, you're trying to find yourself. In your 30s, you should be settling into who you are. And in your 40s, you should be establishing who you are. And that's total bullshit, man. All right? If your father's a mechanic, he got 30 years of experience, let's say 10 years. As you grow, he's giving you that experience. Then about time you turn 13, that's 20 years of experience. Then once you become a mechanic, you're doing it with him. So now y'all are pushing forward and hacking y'all path together. And then once he gets too weary to keep hacking, now you're hacking, let's say 30 years of experience. And then now you're hacking from there on. And then when you have a kid, and then you could add on to that. So now you got 30 years of experience, and then you have a kid. And now that kid, you're giving that 30 years of experience to him. By the time he hit 13, 14, this kid now knows how to, has that 30 years of experience, and they could turn it to 40 to 50 years. And Esau does it all the time. He goes into history and steals other people's experience and knowledge and understanding. And then he hoards it for himself and then sells it to people. But he ain't gonna sell everything. He ain't gonna tell you how to, like they have experience with credit through the Amalekites, man, through banking, through the Borgiers and the Medicis and all of them. All right, and they took all that experience and they harvested it for themselves, and they'll sell it to people through seminars and schools. Now you got to get a business degree, and they sell it to you, man. But you don't gotta go to a college to learn from your parent, which you'll be saving $40,000 worth of debt, $30,000 worth of debt. You don't have to waste your time going to school. Instead of, you could learn hands-on and actually get the actual experience. They'll sit you in class for a week, having you learn all the tools. But My dad was a mechanic. My pops was a mechanic. Boy, you better get I say a quarter inch. Boy, you better hold that light steady. You know what I'm saying? When I was around my pops, it was like that, man. And you learn that way. But Esau wants to teach you so that he becomes your father and you're relying on him. And now you're just disoriented because he don't give you direction. It's like walking into a store and it has everything you want or think you want, and everything's for free and you don't know what to get. I remember one time, when I was young, man, had these Arabs, had a corner store, and then one day the dude was just like, "Hey man, get whatever y'all want, bro." I didn't know what I didn't know what to get, man. Came out with the dumbest shit ever, man. Because it was too much at once, and that's how Jake is in this world, man. There's too much shit you could pick and choose from, and you don't know what you really want, man. And then when you get it, you're gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they do. But it ain't just like you get it and it's for free. You got to spend years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, dedicating yourself to a craft. You got to be extremely disciplined in this society. But the way the Lord set it up to where your parents teach you, you don't have to be extremely disciplined. It's going to be imparted in you. When you wake up, you're going to have to learn this. Okay? Like if I were to have a boy, I got kids that's of age, like my kid don't want to go to the gym every day. And I don't give a damn. And at first it started off like, oh my God, and you're fighting tooth and nail. And after a while, just like, they realize like, yo, this person I'm going to have to keep going to the gym. And it's just like, whether you're mad or not, you're going to get up, we're going to go over there, you're going to lace some gloves up, and we're going to fucking work, man. And now you're getting busy, whether you want to or not. You have a skill set, and you have 15, 20 years of a skill set that's being poured into you. Like I'm southpaw. All my kids ain't southpaw, but all of them are free fight southpaw because I'm giving them my experience. And there's a lot of gifts that brothers have in this society, in and out the truth, that you're like, oh, I want my kid to find himself. I want him to be his own man. No, I'm going to teach you how to be a man. Why you think that nations had the Lord say, don't go and deal with this nation, don't go and deal with because nations that they had stocks, and then stocks acted a certain way, and they acted a certain way because their parents and their culture pushed it down every generation. All right. Whereas you got this nation now, man, you don't know who you got Israelites. It don't matter who you dealing with, man. All of them bugged out, and you gotta probe them. Like the scripture said in Sirach, he that marry his daughter, pretty much roughly paraphrase, and do it for hard deed. But it's extremely hard now because it's not like I'm about to go to Moab or I'm about to go to Arawam. I'm not about to, thou shalt not pour Edomite, but that actually means Arawam, not Adawam. Okay? And why we went over there? Because the way they raised their culture was similar to ours. All right? That's the reason. You know what I'm saying? And everybody, you could go to a ghetto family, you can go to a rich family. Everybody's bugged out in a different way. And you can go to like 10 rich families and all of them be bugged out in a different way. You can go to 10 poor families, they'll be bugged out in a different way. Because they have no cultural stability. And Esau wanted that way, and he calls it freedom. Okay? The propaganda of freedom gave no direction. You know what I'm saying? Because you could run in circles for 10 miles, or you could run to a destination for 10 miles. It ain't about running for 10 miles. It's like what you're doing with those 10 miles of running. And Esau got our people bugged out to where even if you have a direction, like a lot of people that are extremely successful, they did it with a direction. Your Kobe Bryants, your great scientists that we have, them people were at a young age were intrigued at something and they stuck to it and they had like, when I get older, I'm going to do this. And they kept doing it. The bulk of these Americans are like, they're trying to find themselves because there's so much in this store and all of it's wicked. Okay. But yeah, man, let me continue reading that. Well, I read the part I wanted to get because Esau's system is against the family nucleus. And the family nucleus is where you have a stable culture. Because me as a father, I have a culture. But Esau has his own culture. And I'm fighting against him. You know what I'm saying? He playing stepdad. And I'm fighting against him. My kids go out to his world, which you have to through school. All right, I got to go to work, so who's going to watch my kids? Because both of us got to go to work. So now you go to school, kid come home with my daughter. Oh, my teacher told I can be a president. Like, man, don't listen to that bullshit, man. Not because of a right and a wrong. My culture don't adhere to that. Now I got to deprogram that shit inside of you and teach you how to say, hey, man, you should take glory in being a wife. But because of the culture of the society doesn't adhere to it, it makes it a struggle. Everybody is trying to be all these women out here trying to be astronauts, this and that, and then here you are trying to be a wife. And you're going to feel like you're losing and being left out. When in all reality, that's what all them going to want when they menstrual stop pumping. They're going to want it when they hit that wall. They're going to want what every woman automatically want from the get-go. In the spirit, not in the flesh. Because the flesh want dumb shit. Kids want candy all day. That don't mean that it's healthy for you. But when you get old and you start losing, having high blood pressure, diabetes, all you're going to want is health. Okay? So my point is that Esau ways, his ways is death. Okay? And taught our people to love death. Okay? Like the scriptures say, the wages of sin is death, and they that love it do find it and hold on to it. You know, and Esau's way of freedom is ultimately sin. Because it's not freedom from him, it's freedom from serving the Lord and his structure. Okay? Because again, a good core, we got to backtrack. When these pilgrims came over here, they was trying to separate church and state, man. And be free from religion. Okay? So, Esau is rebellious against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and his system doesn't seem like it. Just like the serpent beguiling Eve, it didn't seem like it was destructive. Okay? The same way with Esau. It doesn't seem destructive to when you're born, just pave your own way. You could be a Baptist, you could be, as long as I'm into something. No, you're going to be an Israelite. You are an Israelite by blood, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to keep the high holy day. You're going to keep the Passover. You're going to pray in this name. I don't care what you want to do. Now, once you get old and you want to do that, that's on you. But when under my tutelage and my training, you're going to do what I want my culture to be, so I can further you. If I teach all my children all the breakdowns, my son, all the breakdowns that I know, he don't have to sit there when he gets 24 years old, how I came in the truth, and studying stuff and have to deprogram yourself. A lot of stuff is going to be already in you. Okay? And they don't want our people to do that. Especially the men. Because the men going to keep it a buck. They're not going to emotionally teach you. They're going to teach you as a man. All right? They're going to teach you with intent to further their inheritance. Okay? So, yeah, hopefully this was edifying, man. I ain't too much on it. But that being said, I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakadash, the Anasai apostles who are elders, who rule well. Blessed citation, brothers out of teaching, enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.